Welcome back. You're still tuned into Markets at Noon right here on ET Now. And another big story of the day is the disruption that is caused by Interglobe Aviation. And yet another day of chaos at airports across the country as IndiGo has cancelled over 550 flights, making it to first such disruption in its 20-year-old history. We have Samir Dikshit and Jude now joining us with the latest update on that. And Samir, coming to you first then, IndiGo is saying that major disruptions over the past 2 days are linked to transitional challenges in crew rostering under Phase 2 FDTL norms, leading to widespread delays and cancellations. If you can take us through what is the next step in this?
The aviation regulator DGCA also chaired the review meeting with the top officials of IndiGo Airlines. Now, IndiGo apprised to DGCA that major of the flight disruption is because of the revised or the Phase 2 of FDTL. Flight duty time limitation that comes into existence from November 2025 that led to the severe crunch of cabin crew and pilots in the flight operations. But DGCA has clearly directed that some immediate steps or the measures have to be taken. First and foremost is that IndiGo has acknowledged that they miscalculated the cabin crew requirement once the new norms comes into existence. In addition to this, IndiGo has also submitted that they are seeking some sort of relaxation in the FDTL norms so that the flight operations can be stabilized. IndiGo has submitted that the entire flight operations will be stabilized or can be stabilized by 10th of February 2026. So a long span of time it will take, but in addition to this, certain relaxation they have also sought. IndiGo has also apprised to the regulator that they are going to reduce the flight operations from 8th of December so that this massive flight cancellation or the delays can be reduced and the inconvenience that is being faced by the passengers, it can be reduced as well. DGCA has directed the IndiGo that they need to submit a detailed roadmap of the cabin crew hiring, the rostering, and how they are going to induct the other staff so that the flight operations resume to normalcy. IndiGo has also directed the airline to ensure that there has to be a progressive reduction in the cancellation, and also the airline has to submit all roster-related data. In addition to this, there has to be a 15-day time gap has been given that they have to continuously provide the necessary detail.
Thanks so much for taking us through that, Samir. So that's everything that has been playing out when it comes to the disruption in aviation travel that we've seen recently. But we have our on-ground reporters, Jude and Rucha, who are joining us from the Chennai and Pune airport, respectively. Jude, let's come to you first. What is the status at the Chennai airport right now?
Well, what you can see behind me, and it's pretty much been the same picture for the last 3 days now, is one of absolute chaos as a line of IndiGo flyers has formed a serpentine queue right outside the IndiGo ticket reservation counter. Now, the mood on the ground really is one of uncertainty, and I'll tell you why in just a bit. While the fact is that airports like Delhi may have ceased operations for the time being with regard to IndiGo flights, citing that the large-scale cancellations were pretty much here to stay, that hasn't quite been the case in Chennai. Sure, there was a temporary pause to operations, but operations have indeed resumed after 9 a.m. or so, which means that a number of passengers here still believe that they can get their flight. In fact, the departure board to my right still says that a number of flights remain in security, and the lack of transparency with regard to cancellation has a lot of passengers here claiming that the carrier is merely playing with words, choosing to say that some flights are well and truly on schedule with perhaps slight delays, only for that to then become a major delay, only to then result in a flight cancellation. So it's that lack of transparency really that's plagued most flyers' itineraries as they line up outside the airport here, hoping to catch some flight. Now this, of course, is in stark contrast to both Hyderabad and Bengaluru. Hyderabad saw as many as 92 cancelled IndiGo flights, while Bengaluru saw close to 102, with operations in these airports almost grinding to a halt with regard to IndiGo takeoffs. Chennai airport, in stark contrast, has seen about 32 flights cancelled from the morning itself, but IndiGo, they're not exactly spelling it out that it has ceased operations at this airport, which is why passengers continue to line up, hoping to get some semblance of clarity over whether or not they can take off on the flight, hoping to reach the destinations at the earliest.
Okay, so the situation continues to evolve, and we'll try and track all those details. But we also have Charu now joining us from Delhi Airport. Charu, if you can tell us what's the situation there?
So the situation is quite stark for the Delhi airport, as Delhi has become the worst hit airport in these times when the IndiGo flight disruptions are taking place. As you can see on this board on my right as well, if my camera person would just move it towards my right, you will see that most of the airlines here are, functional. However, only for IndiGo you can see that the flights are not operational. I would also like to add some context to the entire situation. The thing here is that IndiGo could not facilitate or, deal with the roster arrangements after the flight hour rules that were implemented this year. They came last year. However, the implementation took place this year. DGCA also mentioned that it was poor planning on the part of the airline, and because of this, hundreds of flights for the last 4 days have been cancelled. The other airports that have been hit include Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, and while there have been some cancellation and delays in other airports as well, Delhi remains to be the one that is worst hit. Up until midnight, all IndiGo flights from Delhi airport are cancelled. Meanwhile, in Chennai, it is till 6 p.m. In Mumbai airport also, the flights have been cancelled till 6 p.m. We'll keep the developments rolling. Now that's all we have.
Okay, Charu, thank you so much for taking us through everything that's been happening. An unfortunate state of affairs for the passengers of IndiGo Airways, and they have been stranded at multiple airports, and that's the update that we're getting right now. We'll keep you updated for sure. But on that note, we're completely timed out on this edition of Markets at Noon. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned to ET Now, all about your company up next.